Good morning, everyone. We will move to the next part of our chapter, which is solenoid. Okay, some of the part we have covered in the PPT. So, solenoid is basically a coil of many circular turns. So, a solenoid is basically a coil of many circular turns of insulated copper wire wrapped closely in the shape of a cylinder, you can see. And when it is connected to the battery and then the key is closed, the current starts flowing. Due to the current that is flowing in that particular coil, it starts behaving as a magnet. Now if it is behaving like a magnet, it will generate magnetic field around itself. Now if it is generating magnetic fields, obviously we can depict those field with the help of lines, like you can see over here. And if it is behaving as a magnet, it should have poles also, north pole and south pole. Now because this magnetism is created with the help of electricity, we also call it as an electromagnet. So yesterday we discussed that what is the difference between a normal or regular bar magnet and what is the difference between a solenoid. In case of a bar magnet, the two poles are fixed. We cannot reverse it. We cannot change it. But in this case, we can change it if I change the connections, or if I reverse the direction of flow of current. So that I can do, I can increase or decrease the strength of the magnetic field by increasing or decreasing the amount of current. Also, you should know applications of electromagnet, where all it is used. Two or three applications is also fine. Okay. A strong magnetic field produced inside a solenoid can be used to magnetize a piece of magnetic material like soft iron. See, if I keep a soft iron inside this solenoid, which is basically a hollow cylinder kind of stuff, and then if I pass the current, what will happen? It will turn this soft iron into a magnet. Okay, so the magnet that is formed is called as electromagnet, because with the help of electricity we have generated magnetism. Clear? Now, how are the field lines inside the solenoid? Solenoid are in the form of parallel straight line. Okay. This indicates that the magnetic field is same at all points inside the solenoid. So very important from MCQ point of view, that the field lines inside the solenoid are parallel to each other, and when they are parallel, that means what? That means the strength inside the solenoid, the strength of magnetic field inside the solenoid is uniform. Okay, inside the solenoid I am talking. Okay, it is uniform. Why? The magnetic field lines inside the solenoid are in the form of parallel straight lines. So is this clear, what is solenoid and what all things we have studied about it? Now the next topic is force on a current carrying conductor in a magnetic field. We have learned that an electric current flowing through a conductor produces a magnetic field. This we are making this statement again and again in every lecture, that electric current flowing through a conductor produces a magnetic field. The field so produced exerts a force on a magnet placed in the vicinity of that conductor. So if in the vicinity of that conductor, if you place a magnet, it will experience some force. French scientist André-Marie Ampère suggested that magnet must also exert an equal and opposite force on the current carrying conductor. The force due to magnetic field acting on a current carrying conductor can be demonstrated. Okay, what we are going to do, vicinity means closeness, close area, near to it. Okay. So what we are basically going to learn in this particular section is force on a current carrying conductor when it is placed in a magnetic field. So when you have a current carrying conductor, okay, and when you place that current carrying conductor in a magnetic field, does it experiences a force? If yes, then how that force is useful? That is what we are going to study. Okay, that is the overview. So what we have done in this activity, take a small aluminium rod AB. So this is the aluminium rod you can see in this activity, AB of length about 5 centimeter. Using two connecting wires, suspend it horizontally from the stand. So you can suspend it like this as shown, and you can make the connections as shown in figure 13.12. Place a strong horseshoe magnet in such a way that the rod lies between the two poles with the magnetic field directed upwards. See, this is a horseshoe magnet, right? This is the north pole of that magnet, this is the south pole of the magnet, and in between these two poles I have placed this rod. Okay, I have placed this aluminium rod in between these two poles. What is the direction of the magnetic field? What is the direction of the magnetic field? Yes. What is the direction of magnetic field? How the magnetic field lines flow outside the magnet? It is from north to south. So this is your north, this is your south. So the direction will be upwards. That is why they have written upward over here. Okay. So for this, put the north pole of the magnet vertically below and south pole vertically above the aluminium rod like this. Now connect the aluminium rod in series with a battery, a key and a rheostat. Let the current pass. The current will always flow from positive to negative. Now tell me, when the current will flow, it will pass through this aluminium rod? Yes or no? Will it pass through this rod? Aluminium is a conductor or an insulator? It is a conductor, so it will pass. Now when it will pass through this particular conductor, okay, when electricity will pass through a conductor, it is placed inside a magnetic field, the magnetic field of a horseshoe magnet. So it will experience a force and it will show some deflection. I will show you the video. It is attached in the PPT, how it takes place.
In this experimental setup, we can see a battery alternator connecting wires. We have made a wire frame and used that. Then we have another connecting wire, a horseshoe magnet, a bottle cap to set the magnet on, and a stand on which we have put everything up. From this setup, we will show that if a current carrying conductor is near a magnetic field, it experiences a force. Before starting this experiment, let us first see how we set this up. You can see two wires here. To get these two wires like this, we take a simple wire and peel off the outer cover and make it straight. Making the wire straight is very important. Then, between these two straight wires, we connect a third wire, as you can see. And you can see we have bent it into a hook to attach it. This wire is connected to the negative terminal of the battery eliminator. This black knob represents the negative terminal. In the same way, the positive terminal is connected to the other side of that wire frame. On turning the battery eliminator on, current will flow through this swing-like wire. Let's look at the magnet. The magnet is connected in such a way that the magnetic field will be from north to south, and the suspended wire is inside this magnetic field. Now we'll turn on the switch. When we do that, current will flow through the wire, and we want to check if that wire experiences any force because it is inside a magnetic field. If there is a force, the wire should deflect. Let's turn the switch on. I turn it off. Turn it on again and see.
Can you see the deflections? And why it is why the deflection is there? Because that conductor, horizontal one, that is experiencing a force. Why it is experiencing a force? Because it is placed in the magnetic field. Magnetic field of whom? Magnetic field of a horseshoe magnet. Okay. So there is a force. We can clearly see it at work as it makes the wire move. This is not a random force. It always moves the wire in the same way as we have seen. Now, if see, this is showing the deflection you have noticed. Now, in which direction the force will be, we need some rule for that. Just like we have seen right hand thumb rule or corkscrew rule for finding the direction of magnetic field in case of, this proves that whenever a current carrying conductor experiences a force when you place it in a magnetic field, and due to that force you will learn in the case of electric motor that it rotates, And rotation is important because if it will not rotate, then your fans and things like that won't work. So that force is important. Fan is working on the same principle. Okay, we will see it in that part when we will see electric motor in detail. Okay, in order to find out the direction of this force, we again need some rule that is also known as Fleming's left hand rule. So don't get confused. We are going to study three rules in this chapter. One we have already seen. One is right hand thumb rule, okay, also known as corkscrew rule, that is used for a straight current carrying conductor. Okay, this one is Fleming's left hand rule, and the third one is Fleming's right hand rule that we will see later on. So total we have three rules. So what does Fleming's left hand rule tells you? First of all, your left hand will be used in this particular rule. Okay. Now what you have to do, you have to stretch your thumb, forefinger and middle finger in such a way that all these three fingers are perpendicular to each other. So the angle between F and B is 90 degree. B and I is 90 degrees. So all these three fingers are perpendicular to each other. You have to stretch it like this, and the hand should be left hand. Okay. Stick out your left hand, make your first three fingers all perpendicular to each other. Look at what each finger is showing you. So your thumb will show you the direction of force, your forefinger will show you the magnetic field direction, and the middle finger will give you the direction of current. So you can remember it by the acronym FBI. Okay, FBI. F means force, force that is experienced by a current carrying conductor. B is magnetic field. I is current. FBI. This is a short form that you can remember. Okay, so that you don't forget. So let's see how it is.
Let's come back to the experimental setup to verify Fleming's left hand rule. We can see that the current will start from the positive terminal. So in the swinging part of the wire, it will go from the part that is behind to the part in front of the magnet. The magnetic field direction is from north to south. If we go as per Fleming's left hand rule, current is in this case from behind to front. This is current. Let's place the finger in the correct way, from behind to front.
See, this is left hand. The current in this case is behind to front. I mean, it is flowing from positive to negative terminal. That is why.
Magnetic field is from north to south. Here it is from top to bottom.
The magnetic field is north to south. So it is going in the upward direction or downward direction. This is north pole of a horseshoe magnet. This is south pole. We have seen that the field lines travel from north to south when it is outside. So whether the field lines are in the upward direction or downward, downward. Therefore, you can see his forefinger going downward. Okay. Your forefinger represents what? B. B means magnetic field.
The indicator finger of magnetic field is pointing from top to bottom. As per this now, the force should push the wire towards the right. So in this setup, when we turn it on, according to Fleming's left hand rule, the wire should get deflected towards the right. Let's turn it on and see. Let's turn it off and on again. So we can see that by Fleming's left hand rule, we can find out the direction of force. The left hand rule helps in understanding the direction of force.
Now, did you understand why it is going in the right side? Why the deflection is going in the right side? Because when you make your forefinger in the downward direction from top to bottom, the current is from the back part to the front part. Therefore, the middle finger is going like this. So automatically your thumb goes in the right direction, and your thumb signifies F. F means the force. Force that is experienced by a current carrying conductor. So the force is going in the right side. Therefore, you see the deflection in the right side. Because they have only shown the half part, so it is going from positive to negative. That is why from back side to front side. Don't worry, we will solve certain numericals. You will have an idea. Okay, because you need to get it the whole overview. Only over here the half part is shown. Okay. So So Fleming's left hand rule, if the direction of the magnetic field changes, the orientation of your fingers would change. Only make sure that the three fingers are 90 degree. And then the direction in which the thumb is pointing will also change. So the direction of movement will also change. Yes, that is the only reason. You can find out the direction of deflection using this rule. So that is why it is going in this direction.
If we change the direction of the magnetic field, what happens? To change it, let's turn this magnet upside down. Now we can see that the south pole is up and the north pole is down.
Now what is the direction of B? What is the direction of B now? Magnetic field. Upward. Okay, current is same because we have not reversed the current. Now we will see the deflection direction.
Now let's first use the left hand rule to predict where the deflection should be. The magnetic field is from bottom to top. The current in the wire is from back to front, so fingers are now aligned. What about force direction? The thumb is showing it. It is pointing to the left. This means when we turn the switch on, the deflection should be to the left hand side.
Now see, current was in this earlier also, so we will not discuss this. Now the magnetic force is in the upward direction because north to south, so automatically your thumb will go in this direction.
Let's check.
It is going towards
We
left.
can see that the deflection in the wire did happen on the left hand side. Let's check one more time. So this was the demonstration of Fleming's left hand rule.
Okay, at least if you are given two conditions, then you can find out the direction of the third one, provided you know what all three fingers represent: FBI, force, magnetic field, and current, and also the statement. Okay, any doubt? Just to make you sure that how the deflection changes when you change the directions, when you reverse the polarity of the poles, that is why. Okay, so what does this experiment tells you? The displacement of the rod in the above activity suggests that a force is exerted on the current carrying aluminium rod when it is placed in a magnetic field. It also suggests that the direction of force is also reversed when the direction of current through the conductor is reversed. In that case, if you have seen the video carefully, they have reversed the polarity of the magnet. So the direction of deflection was reversed. Earlier it was right. Then they have changed the polarity. It made it, the deflection was in left. You can do it by reversing the direction of current also. Now change the direction of the field to vertically downwards by interchanging the two poles of the magnet, just like you have seen in the video. What all these suggest you? What all these factors suggest you? It suggests us that the force, the direction of the force that is experienced by the conductor depends upon the direction of the current and the direction of the magnetic field. And all the three fingers should be 90 degrees. So automatically your thumb will rotate in that direction.
Direction of the magnetic field. What happens? To change it, let's turn this magnet upside down. Now we can see that the south pole is up and the north pole is down. Now let's first use the left hand rule to predict where the deflection should be. The magnetic field is from bottom to top. The current in the wire is from back to front, so fingers are now aligned. What about force direction? The thumb is showing it. It is pointing to the left. This showing it. Direction. So fingers are now aligned.
See, we cannot use this way. Why? Because if you do it this way, your forefinger will go down. That is a wrong sign. Because the direction of magnetic field is towards upward.
That is why force direction. The thumb is showing it. It is pointing to the left. This means when we turn the switch on, the deflection should be to the left hand side.
So it automatically, your thumb will go in that direction. Once you change the orientation of one of your fingers, it will automatically change. Okay. So what does that tells you? It tells you that the direction of force on the conductor depends upon direction of current and direction of magnetic field. If you change any of them, then the deflection will change. Then it will not get changed. But if you change any one, then it is going to change. Okay. Experiments have shown that the displacement of the rod is largest. This is very important. This is the fact that is proved experimentally. So experiments have shown that the displacement of the rod is largest, or the magnitude of the force is largest, when the direction of current is at right angle to the direction of magnetic field. Suppose this is your magnetic field, right? Suppose this is how your current is going. So what is the angle between the current and the magnetic field lines in this case? Yes, this is suppose I, this is suppose B. 90 degree. So the experiments have proved that when the angle between B and I is maintained at 90 degree, that time the force that is experienced by the conductor is largest. Therefore, the deflection experienced is largest. Okay, so sometimes in 1 mark MCQ they ask what should be the angle between F, what should be the angle between B and I, so that the force that is experienced will be the largest. Okay, so in that case the angle should be 90 degree. This is an experimentally proven data. Then you need to go through the statement of Fleming's left hand rule. According to this rule, stretch the thumb, forefinger and middle finger of your left hand such that they are mutually perpendicular to each other. So F, B, I. Force means motion, okay, deflection. B means field, current is I. All the three should be perpendicular to each other. Okay, is this clear? So that we will move on to the in-text questions and all. Consider the circular loop of wire lying in the plane of the table. There is a circular loop, okay, circular loop like this. It is lying in the plane of the table. Let the current pass through the loop clockwise. Apply the right hand thumb rule to find the direction of magnetic field inside and outside the loop. So I will show you how the visualization looks like. So this is your table. This is your current carrying loop. It is placed in plane of the table, okay, plane of the table. Now you have to find out the direction of magnetic field inside and outside the loop. So over here, just a minute. Over here, this is how the current is going. Now you know, see, first of all, be very careful in which case you have to use which rule. Otherwise, you people will use left hand rule in all the cases. Left hand rule you have to use when there is a force experienced by the conductor, that time. Okay. Now in this case, the current is going in the downward direction. So therefore, the thumb is going in the downward direction. The way your fingers curl will give you the direction of the field lines. Which rule is this? Which rule is this? Yes. What is the name of this rule? This is right hand thumb rule, right? Or corkscrew rule. Yes. So you can see in this picture that your thumb is going like this. Inside, they're like outside the loop, it is coming like this, and then inside it is going down. Yes. So that is why the field lines are made like this. Okay. In simple, they are emerging outside the loop and then they are going down. Similarly, over here, the current is like this. They have provided in the question that the direction of current is in the clockwise. So again, the thumb will point in this direction because thumb gives the direction of current according to right hand thumb rule. Now the way your fingers will coil will give you the direction of field lines. So this is how it is going. Okay. Then second is the magnetic field in a given region is uniform. Draw a diagram to represent it. How will you draw a magnetic field line in a region if it is uniform? How will you represent the uniformity? You can draw it like this. Just like in case of solenoid, all the field lines are parallel. So you have to draw the parallel lines. Parallel lines signifies that the magnetic field is uniform. Then the third one is choose the correct option. The magnetic field inside a long straight solenoid carrying current is. How it is? Is it zero, or it decreases, increases, or is it same at all points? Yes, it is same at all points. We have seen that inside the solenoid, the field lines are parallel. Parallel means they are uniform. Okay, so this is the question. Then on page number 231, which of the following property of proton can change while it moves freely in a magnetic field? So what do you think? Which of the following property out of the four they have mentioned will be changed when it is moving freely in a magnetic field? Yes, C and D. Why not A? Why not A? Yes, mass is fixed. That is why. Mass never changes. Velocity, speed is not the correct option. Speed only talks about, it's a scalar quantity. It only talks about magnitude. The directions of the proton also might change. Therefore, velocity is a better option. Okay. Speed is scalar, velocity is vector. Now, if velocity is changing, automatically momentum will also change, because momentum is a product of mass into velocity. Mass is constant, v is changing, so p will also change. Yes, p is equal to m into v, kg meter per second unit. Okay. Then in activity 13.7, how do we think the displacement of rod AB will be affected if the current in the rod AB is increased? So what is the, like we have seen on what factors the displacement or the force depends upon. So current in rod AB is increased. If you increase the current, will the deflection increase or decrease, or displacement? Yes, it will increase. If you use a stronger horseshoe magnet, then in this case, yes, if you use a stronger horseshoe magnet, in that case, using a stronger horseshoe magnet means you increasing the field strength. So again, the displacement will increase, and length of the rod AB is increased. Again, in that case, the displacement will be increased. Okay, so in all the three cases, there is an increase. Then third one is a positively charged particle, alpha particle. What are alpha particles? What are alpha particles? Helium plus or helium 2 plus? So those are basically charged helium ions, right? They are projected towards west. A positively charged particle, alpha particle, projected towards west is deflected towards north by a magnetic field. The direction of the magnetic field is, now see, over here, you have to find the direction of magnetic field. You will be using left hand rule for this. Okay, you will be using left hand rule for this. Now, what all things are given to you? You know this FBI. Okay, let us take the things that is given to us in the question and what we have to find. They are telling us to find the direction of magnetic field. That means which thing is not given in the question out of FBI? Yes, B. So this is something which I need to calculate. That means F and I should be there in the question. That is there in the question. See, it is projected towards west. What is this value given of? Whether it is a value of force or whether this value is of current. A positively charged alpha particle projected towards west. It is the value of current. So current is going in the west direction. Okay. It is deflected towards north. Deflection is towards north. So north is the value given for force. Now, can you make your fingers in the required directions and tell me what will be the value of B? Use your left hand. Make all these in the given directions and tell me.
If you like our videos, do share them and subscribe to our channel. If you want awesome quizzes, write to us. Keep watching and keep learning with Walnut.